So basically, I'm going to repeat that small piece of info for those that are having to watch this recording. I don't have a step-by-step process I'm going to teach you guys on this call. I'm very much, my personality type is follow my heart and share what's on my mind. And I'm extremely optimistic and a long-term thinker. When I take an action today, I'm thinking like, how is this going to affect my business 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now? And then there's going to be coaches on our team that are very, especially for you guys, the new coaches that are, and I know we have a couple of teachers on here that like step by step, I like to think of it like, you know, when you go to college, you have your syllabus. Is it a syllabus? It's been so long since I've been to college or school. You have a syllabus that outlines the whole course for you. There's going to be coaches that are very much, that's their teaching style. Here's the syllabus for the month or for the quarter. And with that being said, I'll share with you guys on this call coaches on our team that are structured like that so that you can learn from them, but you can also learn from my personality type, which is I'm like the visionary. I'm super optimistic. I like problems. Like I love when there's problems inside of the team or the company, or like when things don't work, because it forces me to grow and figure out how to make it work better. And like, I'm in love with that process. And I think that's going to be an important part of your journey as a coach. Like, I'm not saying you have to be that type of person, but as a new coach, you're going to face a lot of obstacles. You're going to, there's the Success Club Business Activity Tracker, which we'll touch base on, which is actually a step-by-step. Here's what you do for your business every single day for an hour and 45 minutes a day that will bring you success. And so maybe you do those steps for 2 months and nobody joins your group yet, right? Or maybe you do the steps and all of your close friends join your group. Like everybody's going to be on a different type of journey. And so I think it's important that you know that. But one of the main things that I want to help you guys understand as you get started, especially you guys that are all new coaches, is that we're all different. We all have different life experiences that have led up to this point where we become a coach. So you might see somebody, like I shouted out Damaris today in our June new coach chat thread. She's got Success Club 6, she got to Emerald, and she's only a couple weeks in. But if you're a brand new coach and you're like, man, I want to be that person. I want to be like, I want my first 2 coaches or customers or whatever it is. But you have to remember everybody has a different journey. For example, Damaris has done Beachbody programs for years. Damaris was also a coach in the past who had life experiences happen, and she dropped out and stopped coaching and then realized that, oh my gosh, I love Beachbody workouts. That's when I had the best results. And I also loved the process of being a coach. So she came back to coaching. So you see how like everybody has a different journey and everybody starts at a different place. It's important to remember that as you start your journey. Oh, I don't see Damaris on video, but I see she's on here as well. So shout out to Damaris for making that happen. But remember, everybody's at a different place. So I'm going to, as we start this video, I'm going to share something with you guys to take you back to when I started, because I have been a coach for 9 years. And I think it will be surprising for some of you guys, but it's important to know where someone starts. My story started with coaching. I did P90X from start to finish, like disciplined start to finish, doing the best I could on meal plans 4 times. That's a 90-day program 4 times. And I talked about it on Facebook. Like my Facebook statuses started to become my progress pictures. I started to be like, hey, like I ran 3.5 miles on my lunch, which was like something I'd never done in my life, running. Like, so I was doing the workouts and talking on social media for an entire year before I became a coach. So then when I became a coach, if you know my coach story, I became a coach and I hit Success Club 10 in my first month. I went to Diamond rank in 93 days. And I went on to build a 6-figure business, which was about $2,000 a week by my 14-month mark. It was extremely fast and quick. But what I want you guys to understand is there was a year's worth of groundwork of basically what were the vital behaviors that you guys are learning in your Success Club system activity tracker that I did without ever earning a single dollar. without ever signing up a coach or recruiting a customer or a coach. Like I would be like, post up my progress pictures or run into someone at a Christmas party with our friends and they'd be like, oh my gosh, like, have you seen like that Scotty lost 40 pounds? Have you seen that before and after picture? And they would pull it up and show people, like, so as proof the products work. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, Scotty, what are you doing? And I would be like, I'm doing P90X, you should do it. And they would do it. And I didn't have a link to send them. I didn't have a share card to be like, okay, buy it. It wasn't some, I don't want to say awkward, but sometimes when you're starting this, it can feel a little awkward. And I want to help debunk that so we can make it more natural. My process would be like, you should do P90X, or if you don't have weights, do Insanity. And here's my group. Come on into the group and I'm going to help you. I'll hold you accountable. If you have questions, I'll help you out. So I did that for an entire year. So when I decided to become a coach, the thing that shifted was simply just saying, you should do P90X or you should do Insanity. Let me send you a link and let me send you a link where you can buy it from. It was that simple. It wasn't some awkward thing. I didn't feel bad for sending it to them or for making a sell, because I knew that if they did P90X or Insanity and followed the meal plan, they would get results. And I knew that if they came into our group, we would support them and they would have that support. So it's like, in my mind, it was like, I want them to get it because I know it's going to change their life. So they can buy it from Beachbody and Beachbody can take the 25% commission, or they can buy it from me, their friend who inspired them to start, and I can make the commission. And my belief and my mindset was like, my friends would rather me as their friend earn the 25% commission than it go to the larger corporation of Beachbody. So as you begin, you kind of have to create those beliefs in your head so that you're not afraid to invite somebody and not afraid to send them a link or any of those things. Does that make sense? So I'm going to share a quick video with you guys. Like I shared in my story, all of that groundwork was laid of doing the vital behaviors. I was sharing on social media. I was following my meal plan. I was doing P90X. I was showing my results to people. I was telling people about my results. I was inviting them to do the program that worked for me. So those are all the vital behaviors. I was listening to good books. And I'll go back to that in just a minute, but I listened to 3 books on audio over 60 times in my first year. I know it's going to sound crazy, but it was The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. It was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And it was Millionaire Next Door. And I didn't have a smartphone when I started, so I just put them on I had a little Nokia MP3 player phone. So I just downloaded those to my phone, and at my I was at my job for 12 hours. So I would just have one of my earpieces in, listening to the audio while I wrote service manuals and answered service emails. So I listened to those books over and over and over and over. So I was doing those vital behaviors, laying that groundwork for when I became a coach. And you see this, okay, Success Club 10 in the first month. And then now that's been Success Club 10 for 10 months this month that I've done that consecutively. But it started with that groundwork. So as you get started, one of the most important things to know is, yes, use the Success Club system business activity tracker. It tells you exactly step by step what to do every single day. And I know I sent to Tiffany the video. I think I put it in our June new chat thread as well. A video. Yeah, she's got hers right there of Micah Folsom. She's one of my favorite coaches. She only lives 30 minutes from me, but she steps through every step of that business activity tracker basically and says, this is what this step on the activity tracker means. This is how you do this step. So make sure to watch that video. If you haven't watched it, reach out to Tiffany or me or look in that chat thread. We'll make sure to send it to you so that you can have that. So one of the main things I want to get out of, like, half of this call is going to be kind of the mindset and your why and reason, and then I want to answer your questions. So for me, you have to understand, like, where somebody starts, like we talked about celebrating Damari's. For me, I had a love of doing the programs and how it made me feel, and I had a love of helping people before I ever made my first commission. So I love the process. And I even shared today that I love when something's not working right, because I'm like, okay, how can I make this better? That's part of my mindset, is I love that journey. We'll call it an entrepreneurial journey. Like, It's not as easy as people on social media make it to sound. It's tough and it's hard. But I love that challenge because it challenges me to grow as a person. So when I first started as a coach, like I said, I did the workouts for the entire year. But what I want you guys to understand, because you're going to be facing this right now. I know Tiffany, some of her family members are not on board. And that's normal for, I don't want to say a number of, like maybe half the people, their family's like, don't get into that, or they don't support it. And you think they're going to support it. That's normal. So know that sometimes if your family members don't jump on board, that's normal. I remember I'd done this for an entire year. I'd helped like 50 people join my team as a coach in my first year. And I was talking to my dad about, I'm going to leave my job and do Beachbody full time. And he's like, no, son, like, do not leave that job you have for this social media thing you're doing, for this Facebook. He said this Facebook thing. So like, he supported me in things I do, but like, he's trying to protect you. And a lot of times your family is trying to protect you in those cases. Now my dad's outside mowing my lawn and he works like 2 to 3 hours a day, like for us versus at a job. So like, I showed him through my results, and then now he's benefiting from that. So think about, as you do your journey, like, show people when people don't support you. Like, my mindset is, I'm going to show you that this works. I'm going to change my life, and I'm going to change other people's lives. So that entire year, guys, as I got started, and I share this with you because there's people right now that might be telling you no, or this isn't for me, or maybe they're like, yeah, Tiffany, good for you, but it's not for me. I love hearing those responses because that was me in the beginning. So when I first put my P90X page, my P90X pictures together, my before after picture, I put it into a group called the P90X like page on Facebook. And this was my first experience with Beachbody coaching. Right now it would be like putting your before after picture in the Beachbody on Demand group on Facebook, or the Team Beachbody 411 page. I see Anjali is in that group, in like a Beachbody on Demand group. And what happened is that day, and over the course of the next couple of days, I got over 30 different scripts in my inbox of people saying, you should join my team. Hop on a 3-way call with me. Let's schedule a call with my upline. And I was honestly, I was disgusted, because I was like, what in the heck is this? Like, nobody asked me about my results, what I was doing. Everybody just tried to recruit me. Like, I felt like I was in a Shark Tank. And so my first reaction to Beachbody coaching was, hell no. Like, I'm never going to be a part of that thing. And that was my experience. And so, but at the time, and this is a long story short, like, I was buying and selling things on Craigslist to try to make extra income for our family. I was working 12 hours, every overtime shift, working 12 hours a day. I was working every Saturday, taking the overtime shift. My wife worked nights. And so we're living these separate lives. So I was trying to make extra income. I started a like page, and because I worked at a still factory, I started selling custom signs for cabins, like with people's last name and like scenery. Like, I was trying to build businesses and earn extra income. And this opportunity of Beachbody comes, and I love P90X. And I'm like, heck no, not that one. Like, I'm not going to do that because of those experiences with the scripts. So I share that with you because sometimes people right now, they might have some previous bad experience, or who knows what it was. Maybe a coach approached them like that, or maybe they've been burned in something else. But when I see that, I say, like, I'm going to show this person that how to do this the right way. And if they're right for this, they'll join me in their own time. For me, it took 8 months. But what it did is, I would sit at my job. I still loved P90X, and I started to Google search and I got on YouTube, got on Google. That's how I found my coach, Lindsay Matway. I watched her video. She lost like 30 pounds, similar to what I did, doing P90X like I did. And she shared with me, this is important. I say she shared with me, but she was sharing on video. But that's the way that when I listen to personal development, I feel like someone's talking to me. She shared that she lost that weight. She did P90X, and she found out that she could be a coach with Beachbody and that they would pay her. And so she actually, if you guys don't know the story of your upline grandma coach, Lindsay, she actually called Beachbody and got signed up into the lead program. She called Beachbody. They signed her up as a coach. She got assigned as a lead to somebody who actually isn't and has never really built a business. So she was kind of on her own, but she got signed up, and she was talking in this video how she had her first daughter, London, prematurely and incurred like $300,000 worth of debt. And she was a bartender. And she shared that because she was helping people with P90X, getting results of these programs and Beachbody paying her, that she was able to walk away from bartending. And she was home with her daughter during this time as a newborn that was so important to her. And she was taking care of her daughter and slowly paying off that debt. Here's what that video did for me. I said to myself in my cubicle, the only reason I work 12-hour days and I have to make my wife work at nights is because this mortgage that's a few $100,000, I can't afford it not working overtime. And so I said to myself, if I could do what she's doing with coaching and make some extra money on the side, I could back off the 12-hour days and just work 8 hours. I could bring my wife home from work, and when I get home from work, she's not working a night shift, and we can sit down with our kids and have dinner together, go out for walks, ride bikes, and have that family life that we've never had because we've been married for 5 years and worked separate shifts those whole 5 years. So that story, I want to take notes, stories. That story was what I connected with and said, like, okay, this is how Team Beachbody coaching can impact my life and my family. So I watched that. I had to watch her for about 3 to 4 months after watching that video. I actually emailed her that day. We had a phone call, and she told me the same story. She asked me about my wife, Gabby. She asked me if I was doing, like, if what I was doing at my work was what I always wanted to do. All the answers were no, no, no. And she invited me to be a part of her team. And I said, no, that's cool, Lindsay, that it's working for you. That's awesome, but it's just not for me. And she followed up with me about every month, and I kept telling her no. There was even a promotion one time for, you can sign up and get the $40 sign-up fee waived because we didn't have challenge packs back then. She's like, you don't even have to get Shakeology right now. Just like, you would be a great coach. And she would always say, like, you're doing exactly what I'm doing. You're just not getting paid for it. And she told me, like, hey, you don't even have to pay the $40. You don't even have to get your Shakeology right now. Let's just get you started. For the $40 is waived. It's $0 this month. And I still told her no. But then what happened is on April 11th of 2011, it was about 18 days after the birth of my third daughter, Ellie, that I remember I go to work at 5 in the morning. I always picked up my mail once a week from our lockbox at the end of the cul-de-sac. I would take it to work, and then I would open it like on my break, and I would do my little spreadsheet with my bills on that little 15-minute break at work and write the checks, and then like just do all that there. Because when I got home from work, I had 3 little girls and my wife's at work. So like I had to be very time managed like that. But that day it was the hospital bill, the doctor bill, the anesthesiologist bill. And I remember looking at my Blue Cross bills saying everything that I would owe. And I remember looking at that, and I just felt overwhelmed. Like I felt like my cubicle that was like spinning around. I felt this heavy weight on my shoulders. And it was that moment where like my fear of not knowing how to provide for my family became greater than the fear that I had that I would fail as a Beachbody coach. Because that's truly what held me back. Like I saw Lindsay doing it. I saw that it worked. But I was afraid because I don't look like a model like Lindsay. I was afraid because I already work 12-hour days and every Saturday, and I have 3 little girls at home, and I don't have internet in my house, and I don't have a smartphone. Like I had all those fears. Like, how could I do this business like Lindsay is? But that fear of not knowing how to provide for my family when I saw those bills was greater than my fear of that I would fail as a coach. And that day I signed up as a coach. I did my getting started right call, like my coach training and my little call with my coach from my neighbor's house because we didn't have internet. And I remember telling her, like, Lynn, she's like, what are your goals? What are your dreams? And I was like, my dream is to make $10,000 with Beachbody. If I can just make $10,000 a year, that will completely change my life. And I told her why. And I kind of told you guys, like, if I make 10,000, my wife makes like 12,000 working at the Hilton Garden Inn. If I make that, she can come home from work because we pay like 2,000 for the babysitter in between our shifts in a year. She can come home from work, and then we can sit down. When I get home at 5, we can work 12-hour, like I can work my 12-hour day. I can get home at 5. She's there. We eat dinner together, and we spend the evening together. That would be a dream come true for me. And she's like, and like, I'm expecting her to say like, okay, you can, like, that's going to happen. We're going to make this happen. And she didn't tell me that. She said, Scotty, I can't promise you $10,000, but I promise that your income will be a direct reflection of the number of lives that you change. So that's that day I made the decision. I'm going to change as many lives as I possibly can. Like, I'm going to change all of the lives so that dream can come. And I remember then, like, I'm a numbers person. You'll see that as you build your business and want to learn about the compensation plan. Like, I love that stuff. So I'm like, okay, how many lives equals $10,000? And she also was very honest in that and saying, like, I can't tell you an exact number because it will depend on if you can't just make a sell to people and they don't get results because they'll just buy something and leave. You'll never achieve your goals as a coach. You have to, it's going to be a combination of actually helping them change their life. And so I was like, okay, so give me like a baseline. And she said, well, I believe that if you help 5 people every single month, then I believe in a year you could be at that goal. Like, I believe that would be a possibility. And 5 people a month, as you guys might be starting to understand, what meant Success Club 10. So if you wonder, like, how did I hit Success Club 10 that month and then continue to do that? It's because I made that decision in that month. Like, I made that decision. I will do whatever it takes. And I think as a brand new coach, one of the biggest defining factors between someone that you see starting to move forward and someone that stays stuck is the mindset of like, I'm just going to give this a shot and see if I can get there. And the person that says, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Like, I will make all of the sacrifices. I will put in all the work. I will grow as much as I need to grow. And so that's what I did. What I want to share with you guys right now is you guys see the way that I do YouTube videos now, show up on social media, show up on a team call like this, like unscripted, just training you guys, or doing a coach opportunity call like I did with Autumn and Tiffany, and I'm seeing who's all here recently. Like, where I get on the phone, like it all comes very naturally now, like 9 years later. I want to show you what it was like 8 months into my journey. What I want you guys to understand, I had already hit Success Club 10 for 8 months when I made this video. I want to show you guys how scared I still look to be on a video. So I know Lindsay's smiling because she's seen this, but I think it's important for you guys to see that the growth that happens in this, like, as you apply yourself to this company. You can't just study the plan, read all the books, watch all the training calls and get excited. You have to execute and grow yourself. And I'm going to show you that video right now. I just got to share the screen. It's the young Scotty. I call it the hostage video because I literally look like I'm in a hostage clip and there's AK-47s outside the screen pointed at my head and I'm like delivering a message. This took me like literally like 80 takes to get it right.
All right, I'm Scotty Hobbs. I've been a Beachbody coach now for 8 months with Team Dynasty, and it has been probably some of the best months I've ever had in my entire life. I'm not going to say they were the easiest months I've ever had because, you know, it's a lot of work to go out and help people reach their goals, but it's something that I'm very passionate about and that I love to do. This past year, my life has changed completely, and the life of my family financially. Before I became a coach, you know, the past 5 years, I've worked 12 hours a day and 5-6 hours on Saturday mornings, and my wife works evenings at a hotel, and you know, I come home from work, I grab the kids, and she takes off to work, and we see each other on the weekends. And just to have this opportunity to be a coach, and where I will be working from home and with my family all of the time and not have my wife at work, it's just amazing to me that this is something that I can do that I am extremely passionate about. And that's why I work so hard as a coach and try to help so many people, as many as I possibly can, you know, reach their health goals and their fitness goals, and if they desire, help them become a coach themselves and to pay it forward to other people. And it's just been an amazing ride, and you know, that's why I do what I do. I love sharing my passion with other people, and how Beachbody has changed my life.
Okay, I share that video with you But guys, I was like 8 months into my coaching journey. So if you're just getting started, you're a month in, 2 months in, 3 months, and you're still feel a little awkward, like look at how awkward I looked right there. But the thing that I want to share with you guys is, yes, I was 8 months in, but it was 6 months before I left my job. You guys see that I clearly talked about the vision of what my life was going to look like. I had clear goals of what this was going to do for me, and then I was willing to put in the work. So what I want you guys to really write down right now is understand why you're doing what you're doing. Like, what is your why and what is your reason? Why is it important for you to build this business? What's fulfilling about it? What are going to be the fulfilling parts about coaching for you? And like, I'm going to give you guys an assignment. I'll kind of give you a little structure. Some of you guys have already done this, but as a brand new coach or a newer coach or a coach that's fell off the wagon and you want to get back into the groove, it's important that you let people know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Like, you can't just put up posts of your workouts in your Instagram stories or before and after pictures. Like, they're going to see before and after pictures everywhere on Instagram and wherever of this weight loss pill here, this wrap here, this transformation. They're going to see stuff everywhere, but what's going to connect them to you is your story. So one of your assignments coming out of this call is in the next, like by tomorrow, or even today, feeling inspired, I want you to write out or make a video and share why you're a coach. Let people know why you're doing what you're doing. And kind of a real basic way to craft that message is to tell your stories, to answer these 3 questions. What was your life like before you started, or currently if you're brand new? That's number 1. Number 2, how has Beachbody changed your life so far? What's changed in you? And that could be, even if you're a week in and you have lost 0 pounds, but you have more energy, that's already a change. Or even if you're a week in and you've lost 2 pounds and you feel super energetic and empowered and full of hope for your future because of the team you have or the support you have, like, that's a change. That's something that's changed inside of you. So share how your life has changed since starting your workouts or your Team Beachbody journey. And number 3 is share the reason why you're doing what you're doing. So the reason, like in the videos that you saw from me, my reason and my why was to bring my wife home from work and to help other people get results like I saw for myself. So let's craft that story. Let's get it out there on social media. One thing I want you guys to know, like, when I'm on the phone with a brand new prospect or coach or even a customer, I tell that same story that I told you about April 11th, 2011. Like, after I kind of talked to Tiffany about this a little bit the other day on a voice text. Like, when someone says, here, we'll just jump right into this real quick. When someone says, like, I'm interested, or how does those workouts work, or what does it mean to be a coach, any of those things, my answer is shoot me a text and let's find a time either today or tomorrow to talk about it. Penny, the 3rd question was, what is the reason that you're a coach? Why are you a coach? And so my personal response is always, let's send me a text and let's find a time to chat. And then I get on the phone with them, and my phone calls, when I get on, range anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. I always leave like a 30-minute opening. And I spend about 80% of the time just learning about them, asking questions. What do they do for work? Family life, married, not married, kids. What do you do for work? Is that what you went to school with? Like, I do everything I can to understand that person and who they are, what's important to them. I ask questions to see if we have things in common. Like, if we have kids the same age, like, we talk about that. I ask what they're doing and just build that rapport, build that trust with them and find common ground. And through asking lots of questions, I can understand what they want. And then, like, the last 5 minutes is literally, like, it's only about 5 minutes too, is I'll just say, what questions do you have about coaching? Or if it's about the doing a fitness program with me, I ask, have you ever done a home fitness program? So I just kind of get the idea of what they've done. And then I can go off, if they've done it, then I can go off on Did you have results with it? Did you complete the program? What program was it? If they haven't done them before, I just briefly explain how they work. I just briefly explain Beachbody On Demand. I talk about it. They get the year access. I go through everything. You get a year access for $99. I tell them I personally use Shakeology, which is a meal replacement with over 70 whole foods and superfoods. And I drink it every single day. It's $128 a month or $4 a serving for the 30 days. And then I tell them the cool thing is when you get the year access to Beachbody On Demand and Shakeology together, it discounts it by $70 and the package is only $160. And so I just kind of briefly walk them through that. If they're a coach, I just ask them, what do you know about Team Beachbody coaching already? Because sometimes they've researched it, they've watched videos, sometimes they don't know anything. And so once I understand what they understand about it, then I can go on and tell them how it works, or answer and if they already have researched it, I just ask them, what questions do you have before I help you get started? So when I'm talking to a future challenger or a coach, I talk to them as if they're already going to sign up with me. So if it's about coaching, I'll be like, what questions do you have before we get you started? And then I'll just answer their questions very directly. If they don't know anything about it, for example, I had a phone call last night at my daughter's soccer game. I was just in my truck and I was talking to someone that messaged me on Instagram. And he didn't know anything about how it worked. And I keep it just very simple. I just tell them briefly about Beachbody On Demand and all of the workout programs and nutrition programs that come with it. I then tell my story that takes me like 3 minutes of how I got started and why I became a coach, the April 11th, 2011 story. And then I just tell them basically how it works is as you become a coach, when you refer Beachbody On Demand to somebody else for $99 for the year, you earn a $40 commission. And then I say, for example, if you help somebody get into Shakeology and Beachbody On Demand for the year access and a challenge pack, you get a $50 commission. And then I just ask them, like, does that make sense to you? And I make sure they don't have any questions. And then as we're going through those questions, then I go on to, I always kind of like plant this little seed and I say, and here's how it works. Because if you help, for example, 3 people get started on their journey with a challenge pack, just like you're going to get started, that would be $50 commission for each of those. And you would earn $150 in basically your sign up fee and your cost to get started is covered in that first month. So that's kind of how I do that phone call when somebody asks me like, anything like, how does the fitness group work or how do those workouts work? My answer is always, let's get on the phone. Because one thing I want you guys to know, and I mentioned this to Tiffany the other day, is don't worry about if you explain everything perfectly or not. Like, people are going to remember how they made you feel, not all of the details that you told them. They're going to remember how you made them feel when you had that conversation with them. So don't make it a point to like, I got to make sure I cover this and this and that and this. Because sometimes I'll get off of a call 30 minutes and I will completely forget to talk about how much Beachbody On Demand costs, how much Shakeology costs, the flavors of Shakeology and what we're going to help them get started with. And then I'll just say, I know you need to probably speak with your spouse before getting started. And then I got to get off to get on another call or something. And they'll just text me later and they'll be like, okay, how do I get started? Like, what's the cost? And then we can just do it via text. Like, I totally spaced it during the call, but those 30 minutes, what was more important is that we made a connection and that person knows that they're going to be supported. Not all of the details. Does that make sense? So don't worry about saying it right or wrong. I always say you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. Like, I've gotten on a phone with people and answered all of the questions perfectly. They have. And they'll still be like 100% not in for it. Or like, oh, that's one of those scam things. Like, I'm not for me. And then I just spent 30 minutes and it ends like that. There can be people where we won't even mention $40 sign-up fees. Now that I think about it right now, probably 75% of the time, when I'm having a coach opportunity call, I don't even tell them about the $15.95 a month coach fee. Like, that's an important thing to know about starting a business, that they're going to have a fee to pay monthly. But we make that connection. Does that make sense? And that's what makes them ready to get started. So for those of you though, I do understand I have a hard time sharing scripts with new coaches because of my experience with scripts. That makes sense? Like in the beginning where I was like, I'm not going to be heck no to the Beachbody coaching. That's disgusting. But I do want you to know, if you go to the Dynasty Strong Team page, there are scripts and examples of, okay, someone says this, how do you respond? And it gives you ideas. If you just go to the Files tab under the Dynasty Strong Team page, I think the most recent file is actually a big, long document with a bunch of examples of how to respond to people that are like scripts, but it does instruct you to make sure this is personalized, not just a copy and pasted thing. So if you need scripts, use that. Sometimes people don't want to get on the phone. You might be afraid to get on the phone in the beginning, and that's okay. I do challenge you to do it, because once you do it a few times, you're like, you'll see that it feels good to do that. But if people aren't comfortable getting on the phone with me, which happens from time to time, then I'll just do it via text. I'll just answer their questions via text and just step through it very, very straightforward. One thing that I want to help you guys with right now in the very beginning is sometimes you'll have prospects that come out right in the beginning, or for your challenge group or coaching, that'll say like, how much does it cost? Like, I believe 100% in being straightforward and honest with people. Like, there'll be coaches and teams out there that are like, avoid the question and get to their why. Like, don't do that. Like, if someone asks you a question, give them the answer. So if someone's like, okay, how much does this all cost? I'll just tell them. I'll say it's $99 for the year access to all the workouts and the nutrition plan. It's $128 for a 30 serving bag of Shakeology, which is, and I always say it's not a protein shake. It's a meal replacement / health shake with over 70 ingredients and superfoods. So I'll just tell them very directly what it is. And then I'll wrap the questions back around to what were their goals and how can we help them achieve those goals. And one thing especially I want you guys to know as brand new coaches is, yes, I want you to advance your business to Emerald by recruiting 2 coaches as soon as possible. Yes, I want you to hit Success Club as soon as possible. But if it takes you 3 months, it takes you 3 months. It's better, like, even if it takes you, like, think about my journey. Like, literally, because I wasn't a coach, it took me like 8 months to hit Success Club and Emerald, because I was helping people without ever making a sell in the beginning. I'm going to give you guys an example of one of my coaches. I have a coach who's in the Million Club, which means they've earned over $1 million in their Beachbody business, who only hit success. I say only, but they only hit Success Club 3 times in her first year. So that means 9 times she missed Success Club. And she went diamond. I went diamond. So we started together. She's my 3rd coach. I signed her up in my first month. I hit Success Club 10, went to Emerald, went to diamond in 90 days. She joined me doing this together, only hit Success Club 3 times in her first year, and went Emerald in like 2 months, and then went diamond in 14 months. So a year and 2 months to get to diamond, where I did it in 90 days. At her 18-month mark is when she started hitting Success Club 5 every single month. 18 months, guys. That's a year and a half. That's like December. That's like if you start this month and it's December 2021 where you start hitting Success Club consistently, like every month. And she hit it for 12 months, went from diamond to 5-star diamond and what's called elite, and built her business to a 6-figure income and walked away from her job. And then she earned this leadership retreat from Beachbody, and she brought her husband. We're sitting in the hot tub, Gabby, me, her, and her husband, Michael. And she's like, Scotty, I don't know what to do. Like, I've hit Success Club every single month. I got to elite. I don't know what else I can do to lead my team. And I said, this is as simple as I said it. You need to hit Success Club 10. And she just, like, her jaw dropped, and she just looked at me and she's like, I can't do that. And I said, it's because you've never decided to do it. All you got to do is make the decision. And guess what she did? That was October at the leadership retreat. Guess what she did in October? Success Club 10. She hit Success Club 10 every single month after that. And 2 years later, she was in the Million Club. And she's 9-star and 3-time elite. So I share that story with you because we're two completely different stories of how we got started, but we ended up at the same place. Does that make sense? And so, but to be able to do that, even though she had Success Club only 3 times the first month or the first year, she did the activities that are in that Success Club system business activity tracker. She read new books. She continued to grow herself and figure out what wasn't working. And with time, she got to where she wanted to be. So I say that so that you don't get discouraged. Like, feeling discouraged will never help you achieve your goals. So I just want to share that example with you guys from the very beginning. Now, do you guys all know where to get your Success Club business activity tracker? Don't be afraid. Okay, Anjali. So you can go into your coach online office. It'll be in there under the new coach. There's a new coach training. There's getting started right. There's like 5 videos. There'll be links to it in there. You can also just go to Google and search Beachbody Success Club System Activity Tracker. There'll be multiple coaches that have websites that'll just have a download to it as well. If those don't work, send me a private message after and say, I tried don't spend more than 10 minutes looking. If you can't find it in like 5 minutes, message me or message the June new coaches thread and someone in there will send it to you. So I want you guys to start right now making that decision to do those activities every single day. When I first started, it's very similar. I created a video called The 10 Things I Do Every Day for My Business. The way I want you guys to look at this is don't look so much at the result. The result means Success Club points, number of sales. Yes, it's good to have a goal and a target. Like I shared with Jennifer, like she never hit Success Club 10 until she set that goal and that target, right? When she said, okay, I'm going to do it. So it's important that you set those goals for yourself, but be more focused on the activities, which is the Success Club System Activity Tracker, and doing them every single day. And then there's 2 things I want you to think about. Have your strong why, do the activities. Have your strong why, do the right activities. Because like I'll tell you guys, looking back, when I would get home from my 12-hour work shift and have my 3 girls, they were 4, 2, and 6 weeks old when I first became a coach, and my wife would be at work, I would come home from a 12-hour shift in a pretty toxic environment in a steel factory, exhausted. I would feed my kids, hang out with my kids, put them to bed at 8:30. Do you know what I was? Exhausted. All I wanted to do was drink a beer and play Call of Duty. But I remembered my why and my reason, and I would go through and do my activity tracker. Back then it was my 10 things I do every day. It's basically the same thing. I would do it every single day, and I wouldn't go to bed until I finished it. I wouldn't go to bed until I finished it. And like I made that promise to myself, I made that belief to myself, like I'm a great coach, not based on my numbers, because I was nowhere near matching what my coach Lindsay was doing. Like guys, even now, she had like Success Club 152 last month. Like I'm 9 months in and I've still never had over 50. So like she's always still does far more than I ever do. And that's how it was in the beginning as well. So it was hard for me. Sometimes it was hard for me to judge myself, like that I wasn't doing as much or as good as she was. So I had to create my own rules for what it meant for me to be a great coach. And for me to be a great coach, my role was, if I know what my reason and my why is, and I do my 10 things every day, or I do my Success Club System Activity Tracker, and I complete every item on that list, and I know my reason, my why, my purpose, then I am an incredible coach and leader because I did the right things. Does that make sense? It wasn't based on, did I make a sale today? Did I, or anything like that. It was created upon that belief. So I want you guys to make sure that you get that dialed in, your why and your reason. Obviously, the other part of the assignment was to share that to social media. And then every day do your Success Club System Activity Tracker. And you know that book that I told you I read or listened to over 60 times, the first one, The Slight Edge? The Slight Edge teaches you, this is a super important thing. You can do all of the right activities, but if you do it with the wrong mindset or a negative mindset, you'll get a negative result. So if you're checking everything off the list, and no one in particular in this group is doing this, but let's say, Tiffany, let's say you're doing all the activities, but your mindset is like, man, I knew I wasn't really cut out for this, or I'm not at my goal yet, so I understand now why nobody would want to join me. Like, that's a negative mindset. and you can do all the correct steps, but with a negative mindset, you're going to get a negative result. So I want you to work just as hard on your mindset and your belief as you do on the activities. And there's 3 things. This is kind of like advanced, but I think it's important for you guys to know in the beginning. There's 3 things that I really want you to work on that will really help you excel in doing the activities, is building solid bulletproof belief in these 3 areas. Number 1, that these programs, workouts and meal plans and Shakeology, if people use them, that their life will be improved, that their health and their life will be better. So solid belief in that. Number 2, solid belief that if anybody does the vital behaviors of a coach, follows the steps, that their life will improve, that they will earn some extra. And I'm not saying everybody's going to be $1 million earner or a 6-figure earner, but they can earn extra money that will completely bless their family's life if they do the activities, right? If they engage as a coach and work on their business. Number 3, complete and solid bulletproof mindset and belief in yourself, that you, just like anybody else, is capable to share your results with people, offer these programs and this opportunity to people, and help them change their life with the coach opportunity, that you have that ability. Does that make sense? Like, work on building that solid belief in those 3 things. Okay. That's kind of what I wanted to cover base with as a brand new coach. I'm not stepping through each step of the business activity tracker, but what I do want to do right now for the next 10, 15 minutes, we'll try to close at the hour, is I want to answer your specific questions. Even if you've asked me privately and you think it might help someone else, or a question that hasn't been answered yet or asked, please ask me. Don't be shy.
I'll ask a question.
Okay, Tiffany.
So in the past, I've followed Beachbody coaches. Paxton, hold on. Sorry, this is Paxton. I followed Beachbody coaches in the past, and I was always nervous. I guess because like in high school, middle school, I was always the oddball out, right? So, or the tomboy, whatever. So I see these like groups of these like super cute ladies, like all matching shirts. And like, I guess that's why it attracted me to your team, because I feel like I could fit in or something. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
yeah.
Is that something that we're like supposed to do? Like I that worries me. Like, I don't know why. It's just in the back of my head, like, how am I going to make a team like that somebody, I know that's like, I wrote that down, like, people don't think people don't want to join me, right? So like, are we supposed to create a team like that? Or like, what are the expectations? Like, not expectations, but like, if we don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that something that people do?
Yeah, I think this is cool. Like, for example, my coach, Lindsay, attracts a lot of people like her who are very kind of stylish. They're like blonde, super pretty, like all of her top lead. I'm like the oddball out there. But a small example is one of the best leaders on this team is Brigitte Linford. And she's from my hometown, Idaho Falls. She moved to Phoenix when she became a full-time coach. She's also a Million Club member who's also mentored another Million Club member. So she's got 2 in her team. But one of the things that she told me on why she believes that she built this business is because she saw that everything wasn't like super, how do I put this? Like super put together, super edited. It was just like, she always says, like, I just put up my YouTube bit. You can see me push the record button, step back and start talking. And she said that because I consistently did that with my social media, with my YouTube, she saw the steps that I did. Like, she could literally watch the steps that I did to see how to build her business. And it felt believable that she could do it as well, because it wasn't some cut and paste, put together, really fancy looking thing that looked impossible. So my answer to that, Tiffany, is you will attract the people who are like you. So don't worry about trying to appease people that are not like you or don't have similar beliefs to you. Just share authentically who you are as a person, as a mom, your goals and visions, and you'll attract those people that have similar beliefs. Like I remember one time going to a Brendan Burchard event. He's an incredible personal development guy. If you should watch some of his videos on YouTube, Brendan Burchard. One time I had the opportunity, he was doing a book signing after his 3-day event. And he had talked about, it was like, I believe back then it was like 7, but he's built like 20 like online courses and businesses that earn over $1 million. And so I was like, what's the difference between someone that builds like $1 million business like you have and multiple and somebody that doesn't? And he said, here's the thing. We all have these great ideas. We have these great ideas, visions for our life and what we want, but we don't share them. They keep them to themselves. But he's like, the people that go on to build them, they share those ideas and visions and goals with the world. And what happens is other people with similar ideas, goals, and visions, the universe aligns those people. God and the universe align those people, and they get together and they build businesses together. So that's when I started like making YouTube videos. Like every time, like I'm reading 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth for the 3rd time by John C. Maxwell. Anytime when I learn something, I'm like, oh, that's so good. Like I'll literally put the book down, come over here to my little light, put my camera up, and I'll just teach what I learned. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. And I'll just share the idea. And so the majority of like Tiffany, you were attracted into our life because I share our goals, dreams, and ideas so consistently, right? Put that out there. So that's one side of that question. The other side, and I'm the kind of the odd guy out as well. Like growing up when I was in high school, like I'm the guy that was like friends with every group, but not good friends with any of them. I didn't belong to any, like I could talk with the most popular kids in the class. I would sit with the handicapped kids at the lunch table, and like I would be all in between. So I didn't belong to any sort of group specifically. And so I think our team is like that. There's people that are super fancy, and like Beth Isbell is like Miss USA. And then there's people like me who have been drug addicts in our past and have come out of that. So there's people on all spectrums of the class. So I don't think you need to pick like, these are the people that I need to go after and have a part of my team. I think it's more so I need to attract the people that have similar beliefs, values, goals, and visions that I have, and not put anybody into a certain box. So, but this is one of the scariest things. And Tiffany, I think this is important for you. And even still, sometimes it's hard for me, but those people that are popular or have a lot of influence, a lot of self-confidence, like maybe some of these people have, maybe they don't, maybe it's a facade of self-confidence, but those people that you know are super confident, we call them, I can't remember what we call them, but it's like the people that you should go, like that you should at least just ask. Like, because if they're already super advanced in their self-confidence, self-love, belief in themselves, they're going to be incredible teammates that are confident in building a business. But does that make sense? Okay, so yeah, I can't remember we used to have a term for those people, like something that had to do something to do with scary, but inviting those people that you're scared to invite, maybe they're further ahead in life than you, or maybe they have more confidence than you, or a bigger social circle. Like those people, it may be scary, but they could be some of the best people on your team. Like you want to surround yourself as well with people who are higher up in life than you, that have accomplished more in life than you, so that you can rise up as well. So I know that was a kind of a long answer. Does that help you?
Yeah, it does. I've been doing, so I have loved Micah Folsom's videos. If you guys haven't seen them, I mean, yeah. I've watched like all of them. I'm like, oh my gosh. She even calls herself, she's like, I'm a little bit more basic. And I was like, yes, that's me too. But she's like awesome. Anyways, I love her step by step. So I've been doing the things like on Instagram to expand and communicate. And like, I've been talking to like all these ladies that I never thought would talk back to me. I just, I'm having a hard time like making that switch. Like I've had great conversations. Even today, I talked to this girl, like she's got 12,000 followers and I never thought she would have responded. I was like, oh my gosh. And she loves, like she posts her nutrition shakes that she comes up with, but it's not Beachbody at all.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, so how do you guys switch from like, oh yeah, I lived in South Carolina for 15 years and yeah, pollen and all that. How do you like, so join me for Beachbody? Like,
Yeah. That's
is
a
that
great,
what you do? You just like go for it?
just go for it. Like, think about like when I shared when I first became a coach, I was like, you should totally do P90X too. And then when I became a coach, it was like, hey, you should do P90X. Let me send you a link so you can grab it. So this is what I do with all the conversation. After we have a great connection, like, remember, I don't send scripts, so it's all very similar but different at the same time. I would just be like, hey, you are like the ideal, like this person with 12,000 followers always already making her own shakes. I'll just be like, you would be an awesome member of our team of coaches. Like, our goal is to help people get results with home fitness programs. You're already great at sharing like shake recipes and helping people understand like how to get that nutrition in. Do you have some time that we could talk about it? I could share how it works. And then just get on the phone, chat with her, and just kind of share. And even things like that, Tiffany, if you're a little nervous, you got to find a way to do it. But like, I'm even happy to talk with them as well with you, where I could help explain how they could earn extra income on top of that, if that's their goal. Like, the way that I do it, I always ask to see what their goal of doing that is. Why are they sharing those recipes? Like, why do they enjoy doing that and understanding that? And then I would just make the invite. You would be an awesome, just what Lindsay did. She's like, Scotty, you would be a great coach. Like, you're already doing what I'm doing. You're just not getting paid for it. Like, that was her invite to me. Like, Scotty, I'm telling you, you're doing exactly what I'm doing. You're just not getting paid for it, and you deserve to get paid for that. So I would just go for it. The worst that's going to happen is they're going to say no. I always look at it like this. If you don't do it, some other coach like Micah is going to connect with them on Instagram and say, hey, girl, like, you are awesome at sharing your shakes. You'd be such a great member of our team helping people. So why not have them join your team? So I would just go for it. Yeah, just go for it. And then a lot of times what's going to happen is they're going to have to watch you for some time to see if it's something real and something they can get behind.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So then be patient with the fact of, if they say, no, that's not for me, I'm not into MLMs, I don't do that sort of thing. And then your job over the next year is to prove to them like how real, genuine, authentic you are at doing this and how you're really changing lives. So yeah, just go for the invite. I'm going to answer Michael's question here. It says, how do you get past people's negative views of Beachbody? I see a lot of people online get down on coaches for only wanting to sell products, but not help people reach their goals or support them. The help and support is what I like best about doing this. I'm a very new coach, 3 weeks in. I've been doing Beachbody programs for over a decade, and I love and believe in them. My advice to this is simple. Don't worry about their views of Beachbody. It's as simple as that. There's groups out there that bash MLMs. There's groups out there that bash. There's YouTube videos where people are like exposing my upline in Beachbody on their icky techniques of selling and recruiting people. Like, there's videos, there's groups of people bashing our company and other companies. Don't worry about it. Like, you do you. Like, you go out there and you change your life and you help change other people's lives. And just like, when I see that, I'm like, oh, people are like, if someone's like, Scotty, here's an example. In the very beginning, I had a guy that babysat our kids while I worked a 12-hour shift and my wife was at work. He babysat him and his wife babysat our kids. He owns a business, very respectable business here in Idaho Falls, brick and mortar type business that almost everybody uses. And I didn't know this was going on, but him and his wife are watching our kids. I'm working 12-hour shifts. My wife's work, so my wife drops the kids off at 3. I pick them up at 5. A year after my journey started, he texted me and said, I need to come over and talk to you. He came over, he sat on the couch next to me. We had 2 couches that go corner to corner. He put his hand on my knee. We went to high school together. He's like, I have to say sorry. Like, when you started posting your before and after pictures and selling P90X and Insanity, like, I literally told all of our friends from high school that if you message them that you were just trying to sell stuff and get ahead. And he's like, I apologize for that. I see that you genuinely help people improve their life. And I hope you can accept my apology. That's somebody that babysat our kids that know I work 12-hour days and I was just trying to have the opportunity to spend time with my family. So there's people that you love, people that you don't know that are going to talk bad about you and your business and your life, no matter what you're doing. So don't worry about them. Like, go out and show people that you're changing people's lives. So that's my answer to you, Michael. The way to get past it is just make the decision. I don't care what anybody in this world thinks about me or what I do. This is why I do what I do. And it's an important thing that I do. So Tamara, that was a great answer as well. I just saw that. So thanks for answering this question in the chat too. Okay. Any other questions? I know we're at the hour, but I'm more than happy for anybody that wants to spend a little.
I had a question.
Yes, Anjali.
So I am very, very new to this. Last Thursday was when I officially signed up. And so a lot of this is kind of just whirlwind. But a question that I have is, when looking at coaching and looking at, I guess, I looked at it as, or I've seen it as the building the business side and the coaching side. And I know that they should be intertwined, but I'm wondering, what is, like, when you're starting out, what is the focus per se? Because for me, it's like, I've got into this where I want to build a team of people that I want to coach and lead and change their lives. And then if they desire to be a coach, or if I see that in them, then we go that route. But it seems like the focus is, no, you're trying to, not you particularly, but like the idea is to build the business right away. And so I guess that's where I'm confused is, like, I know that we can go at our own pace, but is it a disservice if, like, the focus is solely on, okay, I want to help people and I'm not worried about the milestones or the I guess, becoming emerald and things like that. If it's like right now, I just want to build, I'm confused as to where the energy is supposed to be.
Yeah. So that's a great question. And I'm going to tell you, do it all simultaneously. Like, help people achieve their goals. Like, our mission as a company is to help people achieve their goals and live a healthier, more fulfilling life. So if the solution for the person you're talking to is use Shakeology, follow a meal plan, and do bar blend and get results and lose some weight, then give them that solution and help them there. If you're talking to somebody and you're like, man, I really want to build like this community of women and we're going to build, I'm going to earn extra income by helping people get results like I'm seeing. And this is the reason why. And someone's like, man, like, I would love to earn some extra income as well. Like, how does that work? Then that's what you do. Then you bring them on as the customer and that coach as well. So, like, meet people where they're at, give them the best solution that's going to help them achieve their goals.
Okay.
When I first started, like, probably 80% of my people became coaches from the beginning, really because my verbiage was like, man, like these programs work. I'm going to be doing them for life. I wish I would have known about coaching earlier, because I could have got a discount on my Shakeology. I could have started, like, I helped like 30 people get started with P90X without ever being a coach. Like, I could have been earning extra income and helping my wife leave her job earlier. Like, I was sharing just like that. So people would be like, man, I might as well just get started with you. Like, let's just do this together. And I would very much as well, Anjali, be like, I remember the first coach I ever recruited. She saw my results. She went to high school with me. We were chatting and she's like, I need to lose about 60 pounds. And I'm like, man, if you just do P90X from start to finish, like, I'll support you through it. I'll hold you accountable. I know you can lose the 60 pounds. And then I told her my story. You know, I'm doing this because if I help people like you, if I help you lose these 60 pounds and I help more people lose it, then I'm going to be able to bring my wife home from work. I need a drink real quick. So I would just tell that story like that. Like, I'm committed to helping you lose this 50 pounds, because If I can do that with you and as many people as possible, then my wife doesn't have to work nights. I'm not going to have to work every like 12-hour shift and every Saturday. And I remember what she told me. She's like, you know what? I don't really like sending my daughter. She was a single mom.
Uh-huh.
She's like, I don't like sending my daughter to daycare. You're telling me that like I can help people as I go through it. And then I could eventually do this from home and not send my daughter to daycare. I'm like, if you put in the work and you help enough people, yes, that's a possibility. Like, let's do this together. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So that, like doing that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to sign her up so I can get to Emerald into Diamond. Like I was just bringing people on with what was the best solution to help them achieve what they wanted in life.
Okay.
To give you a small example, I had like to become a Diamond coach, you need 8 coaches, 4 on each side, and 1 on each side needs to be Emerald. I had 12 coaches before I ever knew exactly how to become a Diamond. Because the people I was talking to, I'm like, if you're going to do this for more than just 30 days, then you're going to need your next bag of Shakeology. You might as well get a discount. Or we had the conversation like with Melissa, if you're going to do this and you want to help other people so that you can not work at the Olive Garden and send your child to daycare, like you might as well get started as a coach and we start working on this together right now. And then it was my coach just saying, do you realize that you're like a step away from being a Diamond? I'm like, okay, what do I got to do for Diamond? And she's like, you just need 2 Emeralds. I'm like, okay, let's do that. And then in the next week, I made that happen. You see, it wasn't like, I got to get to this rank of Diamond. It was telling people my story and bringing people on board with me with whatever solution helped them achieve their goals.
Okay.
So yeah, don't let it get too overwhelming. Even in the beginning, like, yes, start to learn all this, like what is Diamond? What is Success Club? All of that stuff. Yes, start to learn that. Maybe 10 minutes a day, learn something new about the business. But the goal is to have conversations with people, find out what their goals are, give them the solution to help them achieve that goal.
Okay. And then is there a, when you're looking at, because again, this is from being online reading things, which was really overwhelming to me. Is there an objective in terms of how many people you're supposed to be recruiting or getting on your team? Or, you know, I read something that's like, you should make 5 contacts a day, or you should, things like that. And so I was just wondering, like, what would be considered like an average, or whether it be per month or per week, but like, and I might be looking at it the wrong way, but like when it comes to building your team and things like that, like what would you say on average someone starting out would be in terms of getting people to come onto their team and things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, we didn't address this, but I want to go back to a story, my story and Jennifer Greenberg's story, so much different. Like I helped 5 people a month get started, went Diamond in 90 days. She didn't help 3 people a month consistently until 18 months in. So really the kind of a benchmark that I like new coaches to go for, and kind of the company strives that this is what we would like for everybody to do, is to hit Success Club 5 every month, which would be help 3 new customers get started on a challenge pack, whether as a coach or a customer. So a good benchmark to get started for a goal would be Success Club 5. If you're like desperate to make a life-changing situation like I was, I would say Success Club 10 would be a great and goal to go after. That's may challenge you a little bit more, right? But the thing that I want you to understand as I say that is it's not required. Like if you don't hit it, you're, in my eyes and in the company's eyes, you're not a failure, right? Because like I know people that hit high numbers, make a lot of money, that are miserable doing what they do because they're not happy with their purpose and why they're actually coaching. They're just so goal oriented. So remember that it's your journey. A great point, like I said, would be go for Success Club 5. Help 3 people a month. I think it's a great benchmark. I even had one of my top leaders say, like, at one point, it was like a year ago, they're like, you know, I'm not going to really strive for Success Club 10 monthly anymore. And she's like, she's like, and she was just questioning me, not in a bad way. Like, why do you still hit Success Club 10 every month? Like, what if you just put more attention in this area of your business? Like, and it had to do with mentoring and stuff like that. And I was like, I think like if I take that goal away, I've done it for so long if I take that away, it takes me away from my original reason and why for becoming a coach, which was to help people get results with these programs just like I did. So if I step away from recruiting, 3 new people a month, my standard is 5. Like, I'm no longer doing what I loved most about this business in the beginning, which was the excitement of seeing somebody like when I see you, Anjali, in the group talking about your victories on the scale and off the scale. Like, that's what I fell in love with in the bit, like, before I ever became a coach. So I do all the activities of inviting to Achieve Success Club 10 because it keeps me tied down to the reason that I became a coach, was to help people get into these programs and see results with the programs. Like, yes, I could spend all my time right now just one-on-one phone calls with coaches and whatnot, but I do that for that reason. And then also for the reason I look back and say, like, I need, to be a great leader, I need to do the things every day that my coaches, if they emulate what I do, they will see success in their business. Like, if you guys just got on the phone with other coaches, like, you don't have coaches on your team right now, but if you got on the phone with other coaches and just chatted back and forth about goals all day, you would never grow your business.
Right.
You need to do the activities of starting all the activity tracker ideas. So to go back to that question, Anjali, you need to find, each individual person on here needs to find out right now, what are the numbers for me? Like, how many people do I need to be in conversation with to achieve my goal of, whether it's helping 1 person a month, helping 3 people a month, or helping 5 people a month? How many conversations do I need to start every single day? For me, that number is 10. Like, I hit about Success Club 20 every month. I do like Success Club, like I help like 7 or so people in my business, and I help like 3 to 5 in my wife's business. For me to do that monthly, I have to start 10 new conversations every day and stay consistent on my social media posting. So one other thing I want to share about that. So find out what your number is. That's going to take some time to figure out what that number is. For example, and I had this conversation with Tiffany when she was asking a question, when I do that, I make a new friend on Instagram, I start a conversation, within a week or 2, I'm like, hey, you should totally we're going to do a fitness challenge. We're going to do this new program. You should do it with us. Like, I'll do that invite. Maybe they join now, maybe they don't. But for the most part, it's like 3 to 9 months before they actually start. Sometimes people will come right away, or someone like Tiffany will come along and say, like, hey, I looked through your Instagram and I'm ready to join. Like, that will happen. But for the most part, my Success Club points in June are from invites I made in January, February, March. That makes sense? Like, Anjali, like, you signed up just last week. Like, that started with, like, it wasn't just like one invite. Like, I was helping your husband for a couple months inside of the group, and he never bought anything from me, really. Right? And then all of a sudden you're in there showing up, and then Damon's like, hey, my wife wants to become a coach. Can you talk with her? And then we have the phone call. You see how that's like, it's not like one new conversation, one invite, someone says yes. It's a process of doing the activities every single day. So the 10 new conversations I start today in invites will probably be the people that start in Thanksgiving time, Christmas time, or even with New Year's resolutions on the like at the beginning of 2021. So that's where you have to be a long-term thinker. Like I haven't said this to my new coaches in a while, but I used to tell them on our one-on-one getting started right calls, you need to write down every name of every person you start a conversation with in an invite, because if you quit, I want you to give me that list, because I'll happily sign them up when you leave and if you leave and get discouraged. And I kind of just share that to just help them understand that the seeds that they're planting, if they're not going to stick around to harvest them, like, they're going to be harvested, but you have to be patient for that. Like, just think of it like anything in life. You have to plant the seed, you have to water the seed every single day, and then the seed is harvested. Never once does someone like plop the seed in the dirt and then pulled out a carrot the next day, right? It's going to take consistent activity like that. Okay. Any other questions for now? I know we went an hour and 15 minutes, and I need to get you guys getting to work. Okay, Tiffany, I'll answer this question. Tiffany says, what is a star diamond again? So here's the basic ranks. First one is Emerald. You sign up 2 coaches. The next one is Ruby. It's kind of rare because a lot of people jump from Emerald to Diamond. Ruby means you have 4 coaches on each side, 2 on each side, and 1 on each side is an emerald. That's Ruby. Diamond is you have 4 coaches on each side, and 1 on each side is an emerald. So basically the same as Ruby, except you have 2 more coaches on each side. Star Diamond means one of those personally sponsored coaches that you signed up. Once you have to be a diamond yourself, but one of those personally sponsored coaches of yours advances to diamond as well. You are a 1-star diamond. When another one of your personally sponsored goes to diamond, you're a 2-star diamond. So for example, let's say in one of my businesses, I'm a 7-star diamond, and Tiffany, you're in that business and you go to diamond, I go to 8-star diamond. Does that make sense? So that's basically how that works. Okay, we will end this call because we've gone a little bit long, but this is recorded. And then guys, use that June new chat thread. If you're not in the June new chat thread, use the Dynasty Strong Team page and ask questions like these, and let the team and let me help you answer them, because that's what we're here for. Okay. All right. Have a great day. And guys, I love hearing from you guys. So when you do have questions, ask me. That's my job. Don't do the pull your head into your turtle shell and hide in the corner. If you get frustrated or overwhelmed, ask questions. And that's how we're going to help you grow. Okay. See you guys later. Bye.